I need you to listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just a story. It happened to me, and I'm still not sure if I made it out, or if I ever truly did. It started on a gray afternoon, the kind of day where the sky looks heavy, like it could collapse on you at any second. I had been driving for hours on a forgotten back road when I saw the rusted gates. The letters above them were cracked, peeling away, but I could still make out the word Zoologico. An abandoned zoo. I don't know why, but I stopped. Maybe it was curiosity, or maybe something was pulling me toward it. The gate was chained, but the metal links were so brittle that with one good push, they snapped. The sound echoed through the empty air like a gunshot. Inside, it was worse. The pathways were cracked and strangled by weeds, the air thick with the stench of rot and mold. Every step I took felt like it disturbed something that had been asleep for far too long. Cages stood in rows, their bars rusted, bent, some completely broken open. The old signs were still there, though most were faded into nothing. Lions, gorillas, crocodiles. But the cages weren't empty. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Shapes shifting in the dark corners, shadows too large to belong to rats. The silence was broken by sounds that didn't belong. A low growl that was almost human, followed by a scraping, like claws dragging across iron. I tried to tell myself it was just the wind, or maybe stray dogs that had taken over the place. But then I reached cage 7. The sign was still nailed above the bars, Shala 7. The cage was sealed, but inside, something moved. I only saw its outline at first. Huge shoulders, hunched low, the faint shimmer of coarse hair. And then the eyes. God, those eyes. Glowing red, cutting through the dark, locking onto me like it had been waiting. It stood slowly, the light from a broken lamp swinging above us just enough to reveal its face. It looked like a gorilla at first, but the mouth, the teeth were wrong. They were too long, too sharp, dripping as it grinned at me. Its fingers wrapped around the bars, long and thin, almost human, but ending in black, hooked claws that scraped the iron like knives. When it roared, it wasn't an animal sound. It was rage, pain, and something else, something closer to language. I stumbled back, my chest tight, my instincts screaming at me to run. But I couldn't, not yet, because I realized something horrible. This creature wasn't an animal anymore. It had stopped being one a long time ago, and I wasn't alone. From the cages all around me, others began to stir. I should have turned and run. Any sane person would have. But the moment I backed away from cage 7, I heard the others. The sound was everywhere. Low growls, wet breathing, claws dragging against stone. Every cage that had looked empty before was alive now, shivering with movement. My heart hammered so hard it hurt, but I couldn't force my legs to move. I just stood there, staring as the zoo came back to life. On my left, a massive enclosure marked Felinos. I saw a shape emerge from the shadows, its body cat-like, but wrong. Its spine jutted out in sharp ridges, its legs too long, its paws more like hands. And its face wasn't a lion's anymore. The muzzle was twisted downward, teeth jutting out at sickening angles, and when it opened its mouth, it let out a sound I could still hear when I closed my eyes. Half roar, half scream, almost human. I turned sharply, stumbling over broken concrete, and nearly collided with another cage. Inside, a bird twitched violently against the bars. Its wings were bare, the feathers gone, replaced by pale skin stretched tight like parchment. The wings bent at impossible angles, folding like arms. When it lifted its head, its beak was cracked open down the middle, revealing rows of tiny human-like teeth. I gagged, bile burning my throat, but the sound must have stirred them further. All around me, cages shook, bars rattled. The entire zoo groaned under the weight of things that should not exist. Then I heard something else, a voice. It wasn't loud, just a whisper carried on the stagnant air. It came from cage 7. "Let me out." My blood froze. The creature's lips curled, and I swear it smiled when it realized I had heard it. Its hand slid between the bars, stretching out, fingers twitching as if it wanted to touch me. The claws scraped the ground, leaving gouges in the concrete. I staggered back, shaking my head. No. But then, another voice, from the feline's cage, and another, higher pitched from the aviary. Soon, the air was full of whispers, all of them pressing against my mind, their words tangled, begging, threatening, demanding. They weren't animals, not anymore. Something had twisted them, changed them, and now they wanted me to join them. The cages began to creak. One by one, the locks groaned under invisible pressure. Metal snapped. A door fell open. The lion thing stepped out first, moving with an unnatural grace, its joints bending the wrong way, its head tilted like it was studying me. The bird creature slammed its malformed wings against the bars until they bent apart, screeching like metal tearing. I ran. I didn't even think. I just turned and sprinted down the cracked pathway, the sound of claws and wings and heavy footsteps echoing behind me. My breath tore at my throat, my legs burning, but no matter how far I went, I could still hear them. And worse, I could still hear their voices. Don't run. You belong here. Cage 8. I don't know how long I ran. My lungs were fire, my legs felt like they were splitting apart, but the paths twisted back on themselves, looping endlessly through that rotting zoo. Every signpost was rusted and unreadable. Every turn led me deeper instead of out, and all the while, they followed. I could hear them, padding just behind me, not rushing, not pouncing, almost as if they knew I couldn't escape. The voices crawled through my head with every step. Some pleaded softly, like children begging for help. Others laughed, low and cruel, promising things I didn't want to understand. But one voice stood above the rest, the one from Cage 7. Stop running, it said. Calm, commanding, like it already owned me. I stumbled into a courtyard at the center of the zoo. A dried fountain sat in the middle, cracked and filled with bones, both animal and human. The air was thick with rot and rust, and for a moment, everything went quiet. Then, I felt it. The ground trembled as something massive stepped into the courtyard. From the shadows emerged the creature from Cage 7. It was taller than I remembered, its shoulders nearly scraping the broken light posts, its chest heaving with slow, deliberate breaths. Its red eyes locked onto mine, and I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Behind it, the others gathered. The broken lion, the bird with human teeth, things I couldn't even name. Their bodies bent and shifted as though they were still mutating, never finished, and all of them stared at me with the same hungry intensity. The creature spoke again, this time louder. You don't belong outside. None of us do. That's why you'll stay. It stretched its arms wide, and the others echoed the words, a chorus of whispers and screams. You'll stay. You'll stay. You'll stay. Something inside me cracked. My legs buckled, my mind screaming for escape, but my body refused. It was as if the zoo itself was holding me there. The creature stepped closer. The stench of blood and decay rolled off it, coating my skin, choking me. Its claws reached out, not to kill me, but to claim me. And in that instant, I understood. The cages weren't to keep them inside. They were to keep us out. I forced my body to move, a surge of panic giving me one last burst of strength. I turned and hurled myself through a crumbling side gate, the rusted bars slicing into my arms as I tore past. I ran until my vision blurred, until the whispers faded into the distance. When I finally stopped, the night sky had shifted. The air was colder. The world outside didn't feel the same anymore. And in the silence, I realized something. The whispers hadn't stopped. They were inside me now.
Subscribe to Horror Story Bar.